If you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code ATNIGHT to get 5% off your order. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night, your weekly Vanguard podcast. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Roopier. Your face is naked.
Shut up. All right. I shaved it for a Halloween costume. I'm growing the beard back. By this time next week, it won't be a problem anymore.
Well, I'm glad you finally have, reached your 18th birthday, Alice.
I think the funniest part was because when I met you at the very least, I would have been 19. So no, that's not even applicable. Damn it. Gap year is still gap year. But yeah, I shaved because I was Bob from Bob's Burgers.
I see. Where's the mustache?
Well, I shaved the mustache afterward because Katie said, if you don't shave the mustache and start over, I'm leaving you. So,
I guess you have to save the mustache.
Yeah, a bit of an ultimatum.
Yeah, that's important.
The last time I shaved was 2019, also for a Halloween costume. I don't think I'm ever doing it again. If, even if I somehow get cancer or something, I will do the full Heisenberg look, and this will hang on for dear life.
I see. Yes. So then 2 out of 3 of us will have beards. Although I'm not sure if root beer is capable.
I have stubble that grows in. I've never left it long enough to actually become full facial hair.
Oh, yeah, because then he'd be root beard, not root beer.
All right, good night, everyone.
Okay, what are we doing today?
There was some important thing that happened, I guess.
So there was a ban list, as well as a few more Morfessa.
The rest of Luard,
including Morfessa, which I guess we should go through. So, yeah, who wants to take care of this one?
Okay, so Drag Wizard Morfessa. So it gets grade -1 in the drop zone, and then Ritual 3 on attack. If you have the Luard Crest until end of battle, it gets 5k. And if there are 2 or more face-up cards in the G zone, you can counterblast 1. Search your deck for a card with the Ritual ability with a different name from it, and call it to Rearguard Circle.
Cool.
Yeah, this card is like the original Morfessa, but better.
Yep.
Huh.
Real solid.
Though it is Ritual locked.
Yeah, that's true. Which sucks in the wider context of D, but in premium, there's some funny shit you can do with that.
You have to have the crest.
Yeah, but there are people who are like, I'm gonna run the crest in premium.
I mean, good luck with that.
I know. It's really funny running into, as a Messiah player. You're like, so do you run a Sleep Messiah? I'm like, okay, so it's either ride a Sleep Messiah, get the crest, and then I have 3 dead cards in deck, or misride, and then I have 4 dead cards in deck.
Yeah. No, just make your deck worse so that you can pull off a funny YouTube combo.
Yeah, it's just not worth the trouble. But I know there's going to be people out there who will try.
Other thing about this card is that it needs 2 or more face-up cards in the G zone, so you can't use it first stride for some reason. But again, I don't know why they decided now was the time they were going to start balancing these cards, right?
By GB2. Well, because they feel like Chrono Jet was such a misstep that they're trying to not make the same mistake.
They had 6 months to...
Yeah.
Or wasn't even that... I don't think it was that long between Messiah and Chrono Jet, but it was still a while. Although I guess those would have been still designed around the same time, even if they were a few months apart.
Probably. But you still have time to be like, we fucked up with this. Let's go back and change it.
Yeah.
Is it already going out to the printer by then, or what?
Probably.
I mean, probably. It's more. Yeah, it's just weird that they're choosing to do it now when there's signs that the stride decks aren't as relevant anymore, right?
Yeah. like the problem took care of itself, but they already overcorrected anyway.
Yeah. But anyways, I think the card's fine.
Yeah, looks okay. Okay, so the thing that made us momentarily visible on Twitter for the week, Drag Strider Luard. So, okay, this another stride. You have to discard a grade 3 with Luard to stride this. You can't do Luard's thing.
Yes, you can. Luard's ritual lets you just ignore the cost.
Oh, the cost for stride is, in fact, discarding a Luard. So skipping the cost would mean...
I see. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
We'll do it then. Anyway, act on Van GB2, Ritual 7. When it attacks, if you have 5 or more units with the ritual ability. This gets 10 can a crit, and then you can retire 2 rear guards and discard a grade 3 with Luard from your hand. That's what I was thinking of, sorry.
Is that when you do need it?
Yes. He gets an extra drive, and then your opponent cannot call grade 1 or greater cards from hand to guard circle.
What year is it?
Oh, God.
It's 2015. I don't know.
It's happening.
Yeah. I think this card is actually pretty strong, all things considered. Like, glory skills in D are a lot stronger than they were in the past because we don't have G guards.
Yeah. You do have Sanctitude, to be fair, but that's only one thing, you know?
Well, that's only one card. Right, so...
This is like Loro, but with it, you don't have to play a bunch of bad cards, which is pretty nice.
Exactly. I mean, this is also just what Drag Strider did originally, right? It was just... Originally, Drag Strider would gain 3k for every card you discarded.
I think it is relevant that like they just don't print cards with that profile much anymore.
Yeah,
and
true.
So, like this card coming back like very similar is kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
with that profile, what do you mean? Like
with the
they don't print glory skills anymore.
Correct.
Okay.
That's why I was making the joke of like, what year is it? Because like everything nowadays is just Sentinel restrict, right? Because when they switched over to V, Sentinels became grade 0, so the original glory skill didn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Which made it really funny when they printed V Metalborgs and kept the glory skill on it. So
they were not cooking.
Yeah, at least this time around, PGs are actually grade 1s.
Yeah.
This also has the very funny side effect of stopping things like the cat that can gain shield.
That's true, and that was like the one defensive, like another defensive thing that we were like happy to see.
So, like, I do think this card has a lot of restrictions on it. Like, it's Ritual 7, you need 5 units with the Ritual ability, which means at least 4 rear guards. And then you have to discard a Luard, which you might not always have, although theoretically you should. But I do think, like, in general, they don't print, like, these kinds of guard restricts as a win condition very often, and there's not actually a ton of shield value in Standard, as we've already covered. So, like, by default, this thing is going to be 43k by the time you get to it, because you have 2 face-up for the crest, and then it gains 10k itself, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll see later on, like, we already saw one of the grade 1s becomes an 18k, so that can push it up to, like, 61 if you get that, and it's Luard, you can definitely just find anything you want, so...
Yeah, and then also it's gone from triple to quad drive, which means, like, even just throwing your hand at the wall, it's, like, nothing.
And also, remember, this is Luard, you're going to be filtering, like, half your deck out by the time you get here.
Yep. So it's weird, because I remember Drag Strider, when it came out, we were all kind of, like, not... Like, we're like, yeah, it's okay, I guess, but it's not really great. It's just kind of whatever.
Were we?
Kind of.
Like, I feel like Drag Strider was when Luard actually got a win condition.
It was... Because when... It wasn't that... There was, like, something else to it. There was something besides Drag Strider that was happening.
No, because Belial Owl came out before Drag Strider. Like, Belial Owl is when Luard first got its resource loop, and it was using, like, Ogma and stuff. You were still using things like Phantom Blaster Diablo and Spectral Duke, or Spectral Blaster as your win cons, and then, like, when Drag Strider came out in GBT 12, it was, like, actually a win con for the deck.
Mm-hmm.
don't remember it being that much of a nuisance though. It was good, but not
I think DBT12 is when Luard began topping more consistently.
Yeah. Was it because of Dragstrider? Or I feel like there's something I'm missing. I can't remember though.
I mean, the deck was really lacking a finisher for a long time, so
yeah,
it being that is really important.
Yeah, because it started topping more at the start of 10 when it got Belly Allow, but I think it was it really became more of a top deck around 12 when Dragstrider came out.
Mm-hmm. And then when was Drag Abyss? That was 14, right?
Yeah, that was 14.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think the deck looks decently solid, overall. I think the problem with at least from at a cursory glance is just getting to ritual is going to be a little bit slower than before.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, there's just not as many dumb cards that just call 8 billion things and get rid of them. But I guess there is that PR, right? That's the dog.
Yeah, and you could always use Painkiller Angel if we never get the PR in a timely fashion.
That's true.
Yeah, the dog. There's a dog PR that's end of battle or on boost gets 5k, and then you retire it in the battle and check top 2, put 1 in hand, 1 in bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You might be like, hey, that seems really good, and you'd be correct.
It's funny that Painkiller Angel was what did that top out like $20, $30 when it was up there, and
card
then
is random rare and G.
Yeah,
it never got that high. I think it was mostly around $14.
Okay. But still, that card
For
would
a
be
double
random rare and G.
Yeah, and then now it's just and then now it's about $3 to $5, which is more fitting.
Yeah,
and good.
Also, yeah, but I think basically being able to hit that ritual and also needing to have 5 ritual units is also going to be a whole thing. Which
I don't think that's as hard. Because when you stride, you can bring back what's his face, Leofall.
That's true.
So you revive Leofall, sack it, get 2 cards out, and then I think the next card also helps cover some of it.
Yeah.
There's also, but it's also a xenophobia thing where you can't, you got to run ritual stuff to maximize on this. So, Drag Wizard Semius. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Okay, so this is a grade 1. During Ritual 3, during your turn, if you have a Dragheart Luard Crest, it gets power plus 2,000. And then an auto, GB1, when this unit is placed on rear, other than during the battle phase, if you have a Vanguard with Luard in its card name, look at top 2 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card from among them, call it to rear, put the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. If you called, retire the unit called by this effect at end of your turn. So ideally, you're just calling this, it calls something else, you do the thing, move on with life.
Mm-hmm. It can also chain into itself.
Yeah.
Yes, it can.
That's really funny.
Yep.
The odds of that happening are
very low, sure, but it's still a thing that can happen, right?
It only looks at top 2, so it's going to be. But but if you can just go Semius into Semius, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Be pretty funny.
Even just getting 1 more off of it has got to be infuriating.
It's going to be very eye rolling, yeah.
But they're all right, I call Leofall, that you clear their board. I call Leofall from drop. I retire it. I call Semius, or call 2 Semius. Fuck it. Call 2 Semius. They go,
Does
all right,
have to call different names? I can't remember.
Oh, does it? Let's see.
It's been so long.
I know. Better go back.
Nope, it doesn't. Any 2 grade 1s.
Any 2 grade 1s. Okay, so call 2 Semius. 1 calls the 3rd Semius, who then calls something else, and then the one from the first. You could very easily just poop out a board with this. Easy.
Yeah, it's pretty amusing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you will have too many calls after you do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's true.
You also just need to get to your ritual count, so calling over your units isn't the end of the world.
Yeah, and one of them's gonna die anyway, so screw it.
In which case, that's the things you kill for this or that effects. And then Abyssal Owl comes back. I remember Abyssal Owl being a rare and being quite good. So in hand, if you have the Luard Crest, you can discard this card, search your deck, or drop for up to 1 grade 3 with Luard and put it in your hand and shuffle. So great, you can just increase your ritual count for free. Awesome.
Yeah.
And you can do that as early as turn 1.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then auto in drop at Ritual 3 at the end of your turn if you have a Vanguard with Luard in its card name. Bind 2 cards with the same name as this card from your drop and counter trap.
Interesting. So you do lose your ritual count here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is definitely much worse than the original Abyssal Owl.
Oh, yeah. But the original Abyssal Owl was so good that it's kind of hard to, like, do that while not making it too unfair at this like power level of game. It's hard to do, yo.
Yeah.
So that's all we learned about Luard this week, which I don't know, looking a little better. I know last week with the new...
this is basically the whole deck. Like, we can now actually start testing it, right? I think the deck is fine. Like,
I'm getting some initial reports that people are finding it bricky, but we'll see.
Yeah. Like, I think, yeah, it could be a little bricky, but I do think, like, once you get to Stride, like, you kind of have a similar resource loop that you did at the end of G.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think it'll be, like, decent at least. I do wonder how often you will get to Stride with how fast the meta is sometimes, but...
Right. I'm curious to see, like, the Dominate is the thing that looks more interesting to me. But I'm not sure. Like, do we have any reports about that or just about Luard?
Just Luard, really. That's all people seem to care about at the current moment.
It is Luard.
It do be Luard, that's true.
It do be Luard. So the other thing this week is we got a ban list.
Don't remind me.
Yeah.
What happened? I assume a lot.
Okay. So I think Matt says that every time we go over a ban list. What happened? I assume a lot. And nah. So the Fighters Rules updates, effective from November 17th, 2023. In V Premium, there are no changes.
All right.
Okay, we're done. No, and then for Standard, the Sacred Flamebow General Sturgna is restricted to 1 for Dragon Empire.
Okay.
And then in Lyrical Monasteria, you have a choice restriction between Tranquil Affection Elvira and What Color Is Your Wish? Valshablan, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These were the hits from Japan. They just copy-pasted it. I think that was to be expected. Like, the way the meta has worked out so far, they mostly have data from the current meta of DBT 10 and Festival Collection. But also, now that we have the first tournaments where Set 12 is legal, these decks are still being very dominant because we don't have a lot of the things that Japan did to kind of push them out. So, basically all the collab decks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't remember which region it was right now, but even, like, powerful decks like Orphis that were meta dominant in Set 12 in Japan lost in top 4 to Gondiva. So it was like first and second place were Gondiva, and then third and fourth were Orphis.
Okay.
So, like, I can see from that data why they would decide that the copy-paste ban list is still relevant. So apparently this was in Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where, like, the first and second place were both Gondiva, and then third and fourth place were both Orphis.
Yeah. The other thing was that they unrestricted Ava and Combined Rusher.
Yeah, this doesn't matter.
Yeah,
this doesn't matter. Like, by the time they gave us this hit, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So this is really just undoing a hit that probably didn't need to exist by the time they gave it to us. Funny thing, they did not lift the Chronojet restriction.
Who? Chrono who? Not familiar. Yeah, that part was really funny. Somebody's like, did they unhit Jet? And I'm like, who?
Yeah. The funniest thing was like, oh yeah, Jet's like still topping every now and then, so we're just gonna leave it.
Yeah.
Which I think that's okay.
I mean, is it even topping that much? I feel like it got one top and they were
League
like,
can easily unhit it and not care, to be honest.
yeah. Like, Eva was also topping during this season too, and they still unhit that. Like, I don't really get the logic of, oh yeah, like Chronojet tops every now and then.
Well, see, the people playing Jet might buy Luard cards, you see, so
Mm.
you gotta
That's
hit the
true.
nostalgia market.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that we call it nostalgia market because we were there during its heyday, and now we're like, oh, the nostalgia. Like, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
weird.
Like,
It,
Mid to late G era was a hell of a time.
yeah, you're telling me. Where this podcast cut its teeth.
Yeah. I literally started the game during that time.
Yeah. So, was there anything that should have been hit that wasn't, or for standard?
I mean, not really. Like, I think these hits are fine. Like I said, the environment for English is very different because we're lacking a lot of the collab decks that I think help to push out some of the older meta of Willista and Gondiva.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were obviously going to have also things like Bastion, while is capable of topping, is missing like the Owl, which I think actually does do a lot to the deck because you have less consistent access to boosters, but also less consistent access to resources.
Okay.
But you go through a lot of Counterblast and Soul just by playing the game. And so having the Owl to put stuff into your Soul and potentially get a counter charge in return is a lot. And like the alternative to it is something like Dark Strain Dragon, which is just putting more strain on your resources, right?
Yeah, and like I don't know, the times I've played Bastion now that the new one has come out, it scares me even without the Owl. Like, the lizard part of my brain goes, well, we got to hit Bastion. I'm like, it literally just showed up.
Yeah.
Give it
I
a
mean,
few
you could theoretically hit something like Alden that's been around forever.
But like, I don't see Alden in a lot of these builds. It's like the new lion looking thing with the red that
I mean, you play both, right? Like, I don't know why you wouldn't play Alden still.
I just, of the people I've seen playing it, I just haven't. Either they haven't drawn it or it just.
I mean, I think,
it's not
in
there.
my humble opinion, if they're not playing it, they're like probably wrong. Like, being Pot of Greed aside, it is also just a big beater.
Yeah. It literally might just be a thing where like I'm not seeing them take damage, take it on damage or anything.
Take what on damage?
Take the Alden on damage. Like
Oh.
I'm just not. They're not seeing it.
Oh, it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah. It could be, or it could be that they're not doing it and they're wrong. Who knows? But I don't know. But I am definitely wary of Bastion as a deck, and
Sure.
I think it's fine. All right, real reason we're here. Premium. What they do for premium?
Hitting demo's fine. It's not like this is not going to kill Narukami.
No, it is not.
Demo's annoying as shit.
It is, but it barely does anything.
Yeah, but it's annoying as shit. So fucking
Yeah.
No. Not demo as a card barely does anything. I'm saying the hit barely does anything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, the deck is still completely serviceable. The demo's an obnoxious card, so fuck it.
Yeah. For people listening, they have choice restricted Sweep Command and Demolition Dragon.
Yeah,
But you think the hit should have been if we wanted to just actually kill Narukami because it's been meta for fucking ever now?
If they wanted to kill it, I think you ban or you choice restrict Stunverse and Vowing Sword or Vowing Reverse.
I mean,
or something. I don't know.
People aren't. Is Vowing Reverse even being played that much? I have to check the topping lists recently, but I feel like everyone's just gone in on Sweep Command, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much Sweep Command, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that the Sweep Command and the Stride that looks very similar to Demolition Dragon. I don't remember what it's called right now.
The one that draws you a fuck ton of cards. That thing's a pain.
Yeah, because
Exterminate.
Exterminate Dragon. So like, because what happens right now is like you sweep command, wipe their front row, and then exterminate, draw, and
Yep.
get a bunch of power.
Mhm. Punish all the other Excel decks. Yeah, it's a fun time.
It is quite good. Yeah.
Like the fact that I had to build Great Nature a certain way specifically to have a mashup against that says a lot. Where like you're making plant tokens so that they then have to go into Stunverse, which makes you bind plant tokens, or they go into motherfucker. What's his name? Draws cards.
Exterminate,
and they get less power or no power. But the fact that I had to build the deck that particular way is like, you know.
But demo is cringe. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, the most annoying thing in the world is seeing your opponent go, okay, I call demo behind Vanguard, and I call it behind this guy, and then it's like turn 2, and you're like, God damn it.
And you're like, sure, man.
I'm gonna ride Demolition Dragon and then call another Demolition Dragon behind it.
Yeah.
And you're like, sure.
Just makes you want to fucking throw a chair through a wall.
Yeah. It's like the most helmet card they could have printed.
Okay, so if it hits, you draw, and you can bind if you want, but then you get rid of it. You're like, I'm just not going to bind. I'm just going to draw cards.
It's dumb as shit.
Yeah.
Now, unlike Premium, there was some discussion I saw about cards that could be hit in Premium that were not. The one that came up the most is Prism on the Water Mirtoa for Bermuda Triangle. This is a grade 1 that says when this unit is placed on Van or Rear, you can Soul Blast 1, and both of you and your opponent draw a card. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, both your opponent choose a card from your hand and call them to R. Your opponent's auto abilities do not activate from this call.
So this card is being used in a deck out loop.
Yep.
And it's kind of baffling how this managed to escape the ban list, considering how aggressive they normally are about loops. Like there was like every time they get even like a whiff of any kind of loop, like they ban it immediately, right? Like when there was the potential for a loop with like Potpourri and one of the like Bermuda Triangle cards from V that like activate your on hits automatically, they banned that. When there was the Gold Paladin loop with like the V Amber clones and one of the Unite grade ones, I don't remember which one it is, they banned that in English before we even got the Gold Paladin promo. Like the loop did not exist yet when they banned that card.
And now when it's an actual problem,
what are you gonna do?
Like Refros has like things like Ellie and or not Ellie. What was the fucking? Actually, no. I think the Neo Nectar stand trigger is unbanned, isn't it?
Lisbeth?
Yeah.
I think it's at 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it still? Is Lisbeth still banned?
Let's see.
That stupid fucking infinite power loop that the other Alvin made me sit through for like 2 hours.
Get on.
Your evil twin.
I mean, it was all at your place, Atlas.
I know. It was funny.
Where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Where the magic happens. Okay, let's see here. Lisbeth. Okay, so going by Control F. Wait. It's not popping up, although, let's see. Click here for wait. Wait, there we go. All clans. Lisbeth. Yeah, no, Lisbeth is still gone. Still at 0.
Zero. Hang on. Let me just check stuff.
Restricted.
So yeah, like things like Refros and Lisbeth are like still banned.
And Taro.
For like yeah, but Taro was a more recent offender, so I at least understand that.
But yeah, they normally are like pretty quick on hitting this kind of shit. And even before shit comes out, like with Jill and B.
Yeah.
And this one's just there.
I hope at least 4 of the top 8 for BRO are just Millista loops, so that Bushiroad can learn the error of its ways.
Again, what is it about like either BRO or Worlds? Their incompetence is put on display.
Well, because BRO is like an online event held through Discord, and from what I've heard, it's generally pretty poorly organized. So
I think so. The question you're asking is, man, how does Bushiroad keep looking so incompetent at Worlds? Well, the answer is right in front of you. They're incompetent.
Yeah, I got that. Thanks. I more mean like they keep almost like failing upward, and like people keep shouting from the mountaintops about like things that they could do to improve, and they just.
Yeah. It is just very funny that like just miss
the 7 Seas cards from G are still banned. Like no one is playing 7 Runner in this day and age.
Do you know that original Laurel is still banned? We're still at 1.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. So like that's the thing in like Yu-Gi-Oh! Too, where you have cards that they could probably come back, but it's been like 15 years and.
I mean, they unbanned Yatagarasu.
Yeah, although I don't really think Dimension Please needs it, so it's fine.
Yeah. Like, you're probably just doing V Laurel now because
I'm not even sure
the power gain.
Yeah, I don't even think they're playing a Laurel anymore. Like, you could unhit it and nothing would change. But also, there's not really a reason to do so.
Oh, yeah, they also banned Tanba for a loop in Murakumo.
True. And that loop sucked.
Yeah, so... like, they will ban just the most, like, pointless, terrible loops that we'll never see play. But one that could actually be a potential, like, meta killer. Because, like, if they get all the pieces together, you just can't interact with it. That's fine.
One that could potentially... I mean, like, it's a meta killer in that the soldiers are already on the move, dude. Like, we've seen it...
Well, the problem with the deck is that it gets tops every now and then, but the problem with the deck, like with any gimmick deck, is that it bricks, right?
Right. But that also means that you, the person who, like, round 2 or whatever, you run into this idiot and, like, sure, he beats you, he fucks up your record, and then, like, scrubs out by round 5.
Yeah.
But then, like, great, it's still a nuisance out there.
Yeah, but you already scrubbed out, so it's okay.
Makes a solid point to be fair, but still annoying.
So yeah, like Millista is this very weird deck where like I don't think it actually has that many tops. It's just very annoying, and if you get stuck in a sub replay Friday where you're like sitting across this fucking mill deck,
Primal Seed.
Then you're just like, oh my god. Right.
So we need Reproducus and fucking Vanguard.
Yeah. Also, apparently, Spike Brothers have a loop deck too.
Sure.
And no, we're not talking about the fucking Odal loop.
I never thought Weddle would see play again, but here I was.
Wait, which card?
The Bermuda Triangle Cadet Weddle. This was from the first freaking Bermuda set. It's a stupid starter. It's a stupid outrider that you can put it in your soul and bounce a unit.
That's right. Oh, man.
That's it. That's all it does. Hey, they're just jamming for this thing, because fuck it.
Yeah. So, I hope Millista ruins everybody's day so Bushiroad learns the errors of its
Everyone
ways.
should play this deck, so they have to play mirrors.
God. Who can get their bricky deck out first?
That's right.
Here's the other thing that a lot of people were clamoring for, pissed off about, whatever, is Redora not getting hit. What do you think about this?
I mean, Mega Colony feels like an eternal tier 2 deck, right? Like, every time it's just sort of there. I think the last time it was like truly dominant was when Order Colony was a thing, and then since then it's been a very consistent like tier 2, in the same way that like Narukami is consistently a part of the meta. So
Mega Colony, we say this, and yet it's not just topped, but won Worlds twice in metas where it like wasn't top tier. You know,
Mhm.
like someone is able to tailor it to perfectly be the silver bullet for gold paladin in both times, for whatever reason. So it's not something you can just immediately discount on its own.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, just like Narukami, like it's just like it's been a pretty consistent factor. Like I think the current meta has become diverse enough that we're not seeing it pop up as often anymore, but like it's still just kind of there, right?
It's the gatekeeper where like if your deck can't play by calling from hand, it dies immediately to this.
And then, there's always the question of like how long should a deck be meta? Because like I think Dimension Police is another one that's like I don't know that it's a problem, but it's been around for fucking ever. Since we got like Geoma Glass, right?
Oh yeah, that card exists.
Yeah, which Geoma Glass is more recent. That was only like 2020, right? Or 2022.
And yeah, I don't know which one of you put this out, but the thing
2020.
I think it was 2020 because that was like coming out, and then we were all in lockdown or something, right?
Yeah. Geoma Glass is 2020. The 2022 was that other guy that gets fuck huge and gains like 3 crits or something.
That's right. I can't remember which one of you, or not can't remember, I just don't know which one of you said this, but on the Nexus and Night Twitter about like a non-zero amount of people don't get that something has to be the big dog.
Yeah, that's probably root beer, but it sounds like something he would say. But
that sounds like something you'd say too, because he used the word non-zero, which that is definitely we picked that up from you.
Yeah. But Matt doesn't use our Twitter account.
Correct.
I don't know.
Most of the time, anything like analytical or just weirdly ranty is me.
Well, so what happened was I got logged out of the Twitter account and then I couldn't log back in, and I was like, yeah, fuck it.
Do you want me to give you the password again? Like it was always there. Like it's not.
Yeah. Just send it to me again because I tried the password that we first set up and then it didn't work, and I was like, yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
I just thought it was funny. It's like I don't know which one of you did this, and I'm like, well, I know it wasn't me. So my process of elimination,
just emblematic of how much of our vocabulary has been absorbed from this man. Non-zero, medium this, medium plus that, just right into my fucking veins.
I don't know how this has happened. It's not my fault.
You are a prolific speaker, whether you like to admit it or not.
That's tragic. We should get new speakers.
Okay. Back over here in my point land. So a non-zero amount of people don't get that something has to be topping always.
Yeah.
So what's
like there's always going to be a top deck.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a question of like how long should something be in the meta and represented? And like if there you have things like Dimension Police, like Mega Colony, like Narukami to an extent. Like I think Narukami's position in the meta fluctuates depending on like what's going on. Right now, it's a very dominant deck, partially because of like the crest stuff you can do with the new Vanquisher, or the gift stuff you can do with the Vanquisher. But like, how long should these eternal tier 2 decks like be around? Actually, would we even classify Dimension Police tier 2? I feel like I would just put it into tier 1 with how consistently it gets at least like a top, right?
I call it tier 1 to tier 1.5 at its very, very worst. I don't.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, if you don't want to say 1.5 because that has a bad connotation, it's a contender. Happy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, decks like that are just like eternal meta contenders. Like, do we want those kinds of decks to exist? Is that okay? Like, do we want to force diversity by just hitting these decks that are always around? Or is it one of those, like, hey, if like one of the top 8 every like 2 or 3 tournaments happens to be Dimension Police, is that a terrible thing?
Nah.
Because I know that our like metric for a tier 0 format is more than half of the top 8s being one deck. But like if it's fluctuating like enough. I think if it if it's around enough, that doesn't bother me as long as other stuff is going on around it.
Yeah. I guess Highlander is another eternal meta contender that never goes away.
That's
Correct.
true.
I mean, it's so freaking hard to get rid of that shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, we could just like ban reindeer, but they'll never do that.
Why would they do that? I also like whatever. It's whatever at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
I
want to ban it out of spite.
No, I think
I
the mill
hate-
deck is way more cringe.
Yeah, no, the mill deck is absolutely like a real problem, and I can't believe they just didn't hit a fucking deck out loop when they hit every other loop on principle.
Yeah, because Busher doesn't like people winning not the way they want them to, which is ride up the game plan we have in place from 0 to 3, and it maybe strides in there and get them to 6 damage like a good American.
I mean, they're fine with alt win cons when they designed the alt win cons themselves, right?
Yeah,
like they've never. I don't think they've ever meaningfully banned any like Gizeh variant, for example.
But that was still within their sphere of influence.
Like even if the mill deck is not good, it is also not like the game they want. At all.
Yeah, it's like, so weird that they
were how good that deck is. It needs to go.
Yeah, it's so weird that like in the explanation for the bans, they're like, we're keeping our eye on like Mega Colony, Bermuda Triangle, Spike Brothers for whatever reason. I guess they have a loop deck. And it's like, or you could just like actually hit them.
Look, if you hit, what is the Spike Brothers loop anyway?
I have no idea. I have to go find it.
Don't worry about it.
We're gonna have to go ask Living Proof. He's like in a cabin in the woods somewhere with his children. He's grown a beard by now.
No, we're not gonna bother people with this. I don't care that much.
They have a loop with the Bruce Stride that what lets them swing with like a 40.
Sure, ban that Bruce for screw it. It doesn't change anything. This deck is probably booty cheeks.
Yeah, like hit a 40k Julian until the opponent dies deck out, or they hit like 1,000,000 damage triggers.
Or 1 over trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this doesn't matter. Anyways, simply just hit whatever card is involved and then move on with their lives. That's funny, though. That's funny.
But yeah. So, I think a lot of people are definitely disappointed with this ban list. I think people are split on the standard one. Like, some people are like, it's fine. Other people are like, no, the meta has shifted with set 12, which I lean more on the side of like, it's fine. I think set 12 has not yet been as impactful. Like, we're seeing like Orphis, Bastion, and to an extent Omina Gruzio if you're coping, like me.
I got stomped by Omina Gruzio at locals. I wouldn't I wouldn't count it out of the fight just yet.
No, I think the Big Eye Snake is like tier 2. Like, I don't think it can be a bit inconsistent sometimes. It can sometimes have problems with its hand size. You have to like plan ahead and know what triggers your opponent are playing. So like, I think it doesn't win as consistently as a deck like Bastion or Orphis that's fairly straightforward and easy to pilot. But like, it can get there. Also, like, the mechanic requires you to like filter at least some amount of triggers out of your deck, which means you're not critting it, which means you're not triggering your opponent as often.
True.
So like, I think that also contributes to the deck not being as good.
Makes sense. So, like, standard ban list is medium to medium plus, and then
I'd say like medium to medium minus, depending on how you feel about the standard hits.
And then premium is the Bushiroad equivalent of how do you do fellow kids. Like they
I think like on the whole the format is fine. It's just like there's these very glaring issues with the format that everyone has already acknowledged as a very obvious problem, and they just like didn't do anything about them.
And like we're this season keeps chugging along, and we'll see, I guess.
Well, I mean, nothing's probably changing for a while now, right?
Yeah. Now that the ban list is out, our bet is made until the new year, I think.
Yeah.
So
it is what it is, unless something extreme happens. But whatever.
Yeah. Well, luckily by then my beard will have grown in again, and
True.
I stop looking at myself and not recognizing who I am, because this is not okay.
Why do you have to have such a weird name like Alice? It's hard for me to come up with jokes about your name and your face.
What, assless no cock? Come on, it's right fucking there.
No, that's low hanging fruit.
How is that low no cock? That takes creativity and skill.
For a sixth grader, maybe.
It was by a sixth grader. All right. Anyway, what did you think about the ban list on either side of the format? Leave a like or leave a comment below, or tweet at us at Nexus at Nights, or at Twitter, Instagram. If you want to help the show, if you want to support the show, get extra bonus content, or join our Discord, patreon.com/Nexus at Night. Thanks to our $10 patrons, Darren, Cole, Josh, Jeremy, GR, and Ali. Where can they find the rest of us?
On Twitter at Wiggums, 2 G's, 2 Z's.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
And then me at Atlas Novak on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or wherever the fuck else you enter an @ symbol before the name. You can also follow my YouTube channel, The Epileptic Comic, or check out my other podcast, Generation Dan, at Generation Dan, wherever you find the social medias or wherever you get your podcasts. So, thanks everybody for listening. And until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm still Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And I'm growing my beard as fast as I can, I swear. Have a good
Grow
night.
it faster.